Welcome back to the 10th lesson of Doodling with Purpose, your step-by-step, week-by-week guide to learning ancient Egyptian glyphs. The perfect thing to be learning at home when we're all at home for whatever reason we might be home right now. I'm recording this in April 2020. Who knows how long the internet will be, and people may not even know what I'm talking about in the far future. All right, so far we have been doing the single consonant glyphs, and at this point you pretty much know all of the single consonant glyphs. Your homework for last week was to decipher and figure out how to write your name using these glyphs. Now we're not going to talk about, there are some certain specifics about how Egyptians wrote names, not just by doing the cartouche, the circle, but they didn't always spell out all the letters, but for the moment we're going to go with all the letters, meaning were you able to pick out all the letters that would represent your name? So my name is Scott, so I went with the S, the K, the A for Ot, and then two T's. And now Egyptians wouldn't use a double T like that, but again, we're just going with letter by letter because it's still early and we want to practice. So, did you successfully write your name? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about your progress. And here's some other examples of how Egyptians would be writing their names. So, same kind of thing. You are on your way to being a pharaoh. All right, time for review. Let's look at the three glyphs we did last week and see if we can remember all the details. All right, so the first glyph we had last week was the quail chick, something to stand on, and an eye. And that's our quail chick. Next, we're going to have our double read, candy cane down, straight, and connect. And that is our double read. And then we had our spiral, which is our W. All right, so this week we're going to be getting into the sort of alternate letters. So you'll notice in the middle, number 16 and 17 are both labeled as N. You have water and you have the crown. And there are just a handful of letters that are exactly the same sound, the same letter, but have two different glyphs, two different symbols for writing that. We don't really have that in English. I mean, we kind of have that with C and K if it's a hard C. So there's quite a few crowns in ancient Egypt. We're going to be looking at this one, which is the crown of Lower Egypt, which is called Desnet. It's the proper term for it. It's the one on the left there. The other crown that's more of an oval shape is the crown of Upper Egypt. So the crown of Lower Egypt, which can be used for the letter N, looks like this. This is a little bit of a more difficult glyph to draw, and it's actually kind of nice because the other two glyphs we have today are pretty easy ones. So one hard one and two really, really easy ones. So that will kind of balance it out. And as you recall, N can also be written as a sort of wavy line, which represents water or energy. But we're going to look at how to draw this, the crown of Lower Egypt, which is before, and eventually the crowns were combined into one. All right, start with a line. Go up, back down at an angle, circle, and back up. And then we add a little twist, a little loop. All right, right, up, over, diagonal down, straight down, diagonal up, a little half circle, over and up, and then a little loop. Again, to the right, up, over, down, half circle, connect, and a little loop. And that is the letter N. And this is the letter M. The letter M also has an alternate symbol or an alternate glyph that can be used to get the same sound. And again, you have to think of these are sounds, not letters. They call this M, not M. We're going to call it M. And you probably remember M is the owl. That's the most common way you're going to see M. But you're also going to see it as two lines that kind of connect at an angle. Right in the middle of this piece, you see that red glyph under what looks like a tail. That's what we're talking about. It is a statue base is what you are drawing. And it's a very, very simple glyph to draw, representing kind of what would be the base of a statue, whether that's a large statue or a household statue. Statues were very big in ancient Egypt because they represented their deities, and they had many, many, many deities for different things. All right, so the statue base, line, diagonal down and over. See, much easier than the crown. Straight line, diagonal down and over. See? And over. And that's the statue base. All right, next up we have two strokes. Not those two strokes, these two strokes. This is the alternate to Y or E. And this is probably one of the absolute simplest glyphs in the entire glyph, well, not alphabet, but glyph language, glyph symbols. So let's take a look. All right, this is basically very kindergarten here, right? If you can draw two lines going on a diagonal, then you could do the two strokes. There you go, two lines at a diagonal. Pretty easy. In fact, this is probably literally the easiest of every single glyph. And that now wraps up the single glyphs. You can see the two M's there in the top right as it scrolls up, the owl and the bar, or the statue base. So that is the representation of the multiple ways that you could write single consonants. Now we're ready for the next steps. The big next steps. We're done with single consonants, and you know more than enough to write your name. We are now going to move on to double consonants, symbols and glyphs that represent two letters, like ka and ba and bi. And we are going to get to triple consonants eventually, but that's a next step. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, subscribe. Listen each week, because we've got a new Doodling with Purpose every week as we go through all 150 basic glyphs and learn the ancient Egyptian language at home. Thanks for watching.